Hello and welcome to Inderes TV. On this video we're going to talk about Stora Enso with our analyst and head of research Antti Viljakainen. So Antti, talking as a Stora Enso as an investment, what kind of company is Stora Enso and what products do they make? I mean, could you shed a little bit light on the vast majority of divisions?
Sure. Yes, Stora Enso is generating something like 10 billion of sales from 5 divisions, and so it means that they have a lot of different kind of business from the forest industry. They used to be all over the marketplace in the industry, but in the last years the company has been a bit focusing the portfolio to some key segments where they have the best position. Stora Enso consists of 5 divisions. The biggest one is packaging materials, which is basically a board business. It includes consumer board and corrugated board. It generates something like 1/3 of sales and a similar amount of EBIT. This is the core of the company. Stora Enso, in my eyes, is mostly the packaging company, and this division generates material for packaging sector. The second packaging-related business, packaging solutions, which is a small converting business. This division has quite limited impact on Stora Enso's numbers on the group level. Third, wood products is Stora Enso's focus area, partially. It is a division that produces sawn goods and also more engineered material construction components like building solutions, where construction companies use for sustainable construction. This division makes something like 15% of Stora Enso's sales, and in the last years it has generated even more of EBIT. Third, biomaterials includes Stora Enso's pulp business. There is also some more value-added products like lignin-based new forest products, which the company is only developing and bringing to the markets, but the most of the revenue of the division comes from pulp sales to external customers. It makes something like 10% of Stora Enso's sales, and usually a bit higher share of EBIT because this business is obviously very capital intensive. And the fourth key division of the company is forest. Stora Enso is one of the biggest forest owners in the world in private sector. This division serves Stora Enso's wood supply internally and also some external customers. Forest generates something like 15% to 20% of Stora Enso's sales and smaller amount of EBIT. This business is obviously very stable and capital intensive business. Stora Enso used to be paper company when I started to cover Stora Enso something like 10 years ago. But nowadays paper is a non-core division that Stora Enso is selling right now. Let's see if they can find a buyer in the near future for the division. Paper is obviously declining business as demand gradually fades away as different kind of media replaces paper usage. Paper consists still some 10 to 20% of Stora Enso's sales, depending a bit on paper prices, and profitability has been fluctuating quite a lot in the recent years. But yeah, quite a lot different kind of business.
A long list of divisions. Antti, where or what markets do Stora Enso operate? And in the history, it is said that the forest industry is very cyclical. Is that something you could say also for Stora Enso?
Yes, let's start from the markets. From geographical point of view, Stora Enso generates some 60% of its sales from Europe. So Stora Enso is very Europe-driven company. Some 20% come from Asia, and the rest from different continents. So the company is global, but Europe is the main market. Yes, I think that Stora Enso is still a cyclical company, even if the industry itself is not maybe as cyclical as it used to be. Nowadays, large share of products of the industry go to different kind of consumer-related end uses like packaging, hygiene, and so on, which has, in my eyes, maybe slightly reduced the cyclicality to the history, but the companies and the industry is still cyclical. It can be seen also in the last year's results, which have been fluctuating quite a lot still. I think that a consumer board business and of the packaging materials and forest business are quite stable. Wood products has also some stable elements, but traditional sawn good business of the wood products, pulp business, paper business, sawn good business of wood products are still very cyclical, which make the company itself cyclical in my eyes.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about competitors. Who, even though they do operate in Europe, in most part, what are the main competitors there or in the world, and what are the competitive advantages for Stora Enso?
Well, the company has so many different kind of businesses, so there are also plenty of competitors. But in the big picture, I think that Stora Enso compete with different Nordic and European forest products companies like UPM, Metsä-Board, Mondi, Smurfit Kappa, SCA, Holmen, and so on. It's like so quite traditional listed companies.
Right.
Obviously, in different continents, competitors also can vary, and some businesses like pulp are global. So Stora Enso faces also like Brazilian competitors, for example, like Suzano in the pulp business. So there are many different companies. But about the competitive advantages, I would say that Stora Enso has some economies of scale, and the company is cost efficient, which is very important in the competitive and mature industry like forest products industry. Stora Enso has been investing much more than any of its peers in research and development in the last years. If we compare absolute level of euros or relative level relative to sales, and if these investments are profitable in the long run, they should create competitive advantage for the company. I don't think that these advantages are really visible in the profit and loss statement yet, but in the long run they should come if the company make good investments in R&D. Stora Enso is quite self-sufficient in energy, and like I said, is one of the biggest private forest holders in the world, which can be obviously also competitive advantage in long run. But these competitive advantages really really vary between businesses. I think that packaging materials and some part of wood products have the strongest competitive advantages, but biomaterials and paper, in biomaterials and paper, it's not that easy to find these strong competitive advantages.
Great. We have seen a record quarters, and we are probably going for a record year in an earnings standpoint and sales standpoint. However, how do you see, what are the risks at the moment for the company or threats?
Yes, we are going to see record earnings. This year the company gave a positive profit warning in June, and first half results are so good that this year is going to be excellent for Stora Enso. But the threat and risks, I think that they come from both supply and demand, which obviously determine the prices in all Stora Enso's businesses quite directly. If we think about the last year or last 2 years, demand has been very good as GDP growth has been high globally and also in Europe, which has obviously boosted demand. At the same time, supply has been very restricted due to different kind of COVID-related issues, global logistics, and so on. And due to these two factors, sales prices of Stora Enso's products have increased quite a lot. And if we think about the next 12 or maybe 24 months forward, it's expected that demand might be a little bit lower as recession is probably coming, and it should be visible in demand of Stora Enso's many products. At the same time, the base case is that supply will at some point begin to work a bit better. And then both these factors could loosen this extremely high and favorable pricing environment that has been driving Stora Enso's earnings. So I think that these two are the main risks. Of course, inflation is one issue, but so far pricing environment has been so strong that inflation haven't caused any issues for Stora Enso in basically any businesses.
Right. Antti, I'm eager to ask you, as someone who has followed Stora Enso literally half of my personal lifetime at the moment, how do you see the long term, the big picture of Stora Enso going forward?
Yes, I think that I started something like 10 years ago to cover Stora Enso. It was very different company back then.
I imagine that, yes.
Yeah. Like it was like a company in transition. So at these years, the whole industry had understood that paper consumption is going to decline in the long run, and Stora Enso started well in time to find a new strategy. But of course, like companies that big, it takes time quite a lot, and the global financial crisis didn't help the company to adapt this new reality. So back in 10 years ago, the company was in transition, and there was not very high hopes that this transition is going to be successful. But Stora Enso and many parts of industry have found a new future in packaging materials, partly also pulp business, wood construction related business, and so on. So basically everything else in the company's portfolio is growing, but paper. And I think that I expect a slow growth from the company in the long run. Stora Enso is driven by global economy, and it's very difficult to get high growth rates for the company, which generates 10 billion of sales and is driven by drivers like that. So slow growth is expected, and profitability should remain on the good level. It will continue to fluctuate as the company is cyclical. The game changer could be some new products that the industry and the company are developing. Stora Enso has, for example, a battery material project, which could be obviously a big thing when we think about break up of electric cars and something like that. It's like a huge opportunity, but it takes some time to develop the product and commercialize it. So I don't expect any fast changes to the company's profile, but it could be a thing that could make the growth faster, but let's see if they are successful or not.
Great. Only a time will tell where the company goes. Thank you, Antti, for the interview.
Thank you.